Welcome! How was your weekend? Mine was good. And welcome to Rabona TV. My name is Adrian and this is the weekend review. We'll see what up in Spain, France, Italy, Germany, and England, and then talk about a bonus league somewhere in there if another team has been crowned champion over the weekend. If this kind of thing interests you, then be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this, plus watch-alongs, player bios, explainer videos, etc. Starting in England and starting on Friday, as Brighton set the tone early for their fellow bottom 5 teams as they hosted United. And they only went and beat them 1-0. It was one of those rough matches for United, who only had one touch in Brighton's penalty area in the first half. And in the second half, it took 12 minutes for Pascal Gross to score.
He's been absolutely integral to Brighton's survival this season, as he's been involved in 15 of Brighton's 33 goals scored, aka he's had a hand in 45% of Brighton's goals so far.
For United, well, for the first time since the 1989-1990 season, they have lost 3 league matches to the newly promoted clubs. Yikes. So, that win for Brighton seals their safety as they hit 40 points with 2 matches to go. Let's stay at the bottom of the table because, again, that's where all the excitement is right now. West Ham got a big 2-0 win away to Leicester. Loni João Mario scored the opener, which was assisted by Marco Arnautovic. Arnautovic has now been involved in 9 goals in his last 8 away matches for West Ham, with 5 for himself and 4 assists. Then, later in the second half, the West Ham legend himself, Mark Noble, scored what was his 37th Premier League goal for the Hammers, putting him in 3rd for club Premier League goals. So with that win, West Ham have also claimed their spot in the Premier League for next season. They only have a 5-point lead over Swansea and Southampton, with 2 matches remaining, but those 2 teams are playing each other this coming Tuesday, thus ensuring that West Ham, no matter the result, will be safe. Speaking of Swansea, they had a match away to Bournemouth this Saturday, and while they did well to stay in this match, Ryan Fraser's 37th minute goal was all the hosts needed to get the victory, thus leaving Swansea in 17th place, tied on points with Southampton on 33. Southampton, by the way, ended up on 33 points in a bit of a heartbreaking fashion. First off, they found the lead in the 56th minute when Nathan Redmond scored his first goal of this season. So the Saints were leading 1-0 away to Everton. In the 85th minute, Maya Yoshida was sent off for getting a second yellow card, and the pressure began to build. It finally broke in the 95th minute when Tom Daisy scored an equalizer, robbing Southampton of a crucial 2 points, which would have seen them 2 above Swansea. Crystal Palace also secured their safety against the bottom-dwelling Stoke. With one team securing safety, the other was doomed to the championship, as Stoke became the first team to be officially relegated this season. And I think we all gotta give respect to Roy Hodgson, who a lot of us wrote off when he was brought in to replace Frank de Boer, myself included. At the time, Crystal Palace had lost every single one of their opening 4 matches without scoring a single goal. They continued to struggle for their next 3 matches until they finally scored in their 8th game against Chelsea, which they won 2-1, and from there, Hodgson's team collected 41 points from 30 matches. And they became the first Premier League team ever to lose their first 7 matches and still avoid relegation. 2-1 was the score in Palace's victory over Stoke, with Patrick van Aanholt scoring the goal that condemned Stoke to the championship. And everyone thought that West Brom were completely finished, but they somehow keep on fighting and are unbeaten in their last 5 matches in a row now, with 3 wins and 2 draws. Their latest win came against Tottenham, as the 91st minute Jake Livermore, or Danny Rowe's own goal, winner, whatever one you want to choose, means that Darren Moore's boys are not relegated. And 2, Tottenham have now lost points from goals conceded in the 90th minute more than any other team in the Premier League. Huddersfield earned an important 0-0 draw with Manchester City, but they aren't 100% safe just yet with 36 points. And I think that's it for the bottom of the table. Arsene Wenger managed his final match at home for Arsenal, and the boys actually showed up for him, getting a 5-0 win over the Europe-bound Burnley.
Aubameyang scored a brace in this one, taking his tally to 8 goals and 4 assists in 11 Premier League appearances. Not a bad goal involvement. And combined with his 13 Bundesliga goals, he scored 20+ league goals in each of his last 3 seasons.
Lacazette, Kolasinac, and Iwobi provided the other goals. Lacazette, by the way, has been involved in 9 goals in his last 9 matches, as he's found some consistent form towards the end of this season. So, with 54 goals scored at home this season for Arsenal, that's the joint highest that any Arsenal side has managed in the Premier League, tied with the Invincibles. Thankfully, the Arsenal fans were overwhelmingly positive, as the hate has dissipated a bit with the announcement of Arsene leaving. His speech was classy at the end of the match, and Arsenal were classy as well in gifting him the gold Invincibles trophy as a parting gift. Doesn't that just warm your heart? The other marquee matchup was Chelsea versus Liverpool, in which a somewhat dulled down Liverpool side lost 1-0 away. Big G Giroud came up with the winner, as his flicked header no doubt gave Morata some header envy. You know, he's just sitting there seething. Alright, La Liga and El Clasico, damn. What a match that was. So here's my breakdown on the officiating just to get it out of the way. Bale should have seen yellow in the first half for his tackle on Umtiti. The red card was kind of weak. Messi never should have scored that second for Barcelona after the foul by Suarez on Varane, and Real should have had a penalty in the second half when Marcelo was hacked down by Jordi Alba. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now let's talk about the actual match itself. So, there was nothing on the line in this Clasico besides Barcelona's unbeaten La Liga season. Real is on autopilot, sort of, from now until the Champions League final, just trying to find some good form along the way. This was also Andres Iniesta's final El Clasico and his 38th. It was also Lionel Messi and Sergio Ramos' 38th Clásicos as well. Luis Suarez scored early, his 24th of the season,
But Ronaldo wasn't to be outdone and scored his 25th of the season so far, equaling Di Stefano's record of 18 El Clasico goals for Madrid. Speaking of finding good form, by the way, Karim Benzema has done just that, as he set up Ronaldo, becoming the first Real Madrid player to hit double figures in both goals and assists.
Messi put Barcelona ahead in the second half with his 33rd of the season, but as I said, it shouldn't have counted. But Bale made sure Real didn't lose what was probably his last Clasico as well, as his curling effort made it 2-2 in the 72nd. Like I said, this Clasico had very little on the line, but was really entertaining. Unlucky if you missed it, Atletico, or more like Pathetico, Madrid lost 2-0 at home to Espanyol, which is one, surprising, and two, their first loss at the Wanda Metropolitana Stadium. I mean, Atletico did rest some players like Griezmann, Saúl, Godin, Diego Costa, etc., but still. And that was about it in Spain, really, as Villarreal beat Valencia as they were getting a firm grip on a Europa League spot in 6th place. But yeah, that's about it. Bottom of La Liga is pretty much sorted already. In France, PSG meandered to their second draw in a row after a 2-2 finish with Amiens. This was in fact the first time in the Liga this season that PSG have scored first and then failed to win. And with that point for Amiens, they have achieved the second best points tally for a rookie team in the Ligue 1 during the 21st century. Big up Amiens, as they currently sit in 13th. Lyon attempted to keep their incredible form going as they hosted Troyes.
Lyon won 3-0, meaning they extend their unbeaten run to 11 matches, with 8 wins in a row.
The other Ligue 1 team with a crazy unbeaten run, Saint-Etienne, saw said run of 13 matches unbeaten, stretching all the way back to January, come to an end with a 3-1 loss to Bordeaux. The highly sought after winger Malcolm scored from outside the box once again, the 8th time he's done so since the start of last season, which is more than any other Ligue 1 player. Also, Marseille beat Nice 2-1, as they are now unbeaten in 6 matches, and looking good for the Europa League final. Speaking of looking good, Dimitri Payet bossed this match once again as he moved level with Neymar with 13 assists in Ligue 1, the most of any French player in the top 5 leagues, and he also scored a 72nd minute winner, his 6th of the season. He's been involved in 6 of Marseille's last 7 goals. He's killing it right now. Oh, by the way, Mario Balotelli scored against Marseille, so he's scored the most against top 6 opposition this season out of all players in Liga. Impressive, Mario. Keep it up, man. In Germany, it's as you were, both at the top and at the bottom, with Bayern beating FC Köln 3-1 to get their 6th win in a row, Borussia Dortmund losing to Mainz 2-1 at home. God, I can't wait to see who Dortmund's next manager is, to be honest with you. Stoker is so bad, dude. Don't get me wrong, it's not as if Borussia Dortmund has the perfect squad, but they certainly have a lot of quality and should be doing much better than they are currently. Apparently they've been linked with Juventus fullback Stefan Lichtsteiner on a free transfer, so there's an improvement there, I guess, because he's quality, but he's also 34 years old and not a new manager. So anyways, all of the bottom 3 were handed L's this weekend. So Hamburger SV's push for the relegation playoff place was put on hold once again. They'll need a Wolfsburg loss and will need to beat Borussia Mönchengladbach in order to steal the playoff spot, while Wolfsburg are playing the bottom of the table FC Köln. So it's not looking good for Hamburger. Next weekend is the final weekend of the Bundesliga, by the way, guys. Getting it done early, which I guess it helps when there's only 18 teams in your league. I don't know, maybe 18's the way to go. Less to play, longer winter break. The Serie A, there's just 2 matches remaining in Italy, and it's looking as though Juventus have all but sealed up their 7th Scudetto in a row. So how do they do it? Well, on Saturday, Juventus hosted Bologna and found themselves trailing at the half thanks to a 30th minute penalty from Simone Verdi. Verdi almost categorically refuses to score in the second half of matches, by the way, as that was his 9th goal of the season, 8 of which were scored in the first half. Then in the second half, Douglas Costa was brought on and he made a world of difference. First, Di Maio directed Juan Cuadrado's cross into his own goal to put the teams on level terms. Really nice guy, that Di Maio. Then Douglas Costa took over, first delivering a perfect cross to the back post for Sami Khedira to guide in.
Then 6 minutes later, Costa cut the ball back for Dybala to finish. That was Dybala's 22nd of the season, but his first goal in a month. Those were also Costa's 11th and 12th assists of this Serie A season, 7 of which have come as a substitute.
So, Juve set the tone and Napoli had to match their performance with a tricky home fixture against Torino, a team that's just sort of floating along in mid-table obscurity, ready to ruin someone's day whenever they can, and they did just that, as Napoli found themselves leading after 71 minutes via Marek Hamšík, his 7th of the season and 100th in the Serie A. So congrats on a century of goals, my man. But in the 83rd, Lorenzo Di Silvestri broke the hosts' hearts with an equalizer and thus pretty much destroyed what slim chance they did have of stealing the title from Juve. So respect to Napoli for making it interesting until the end, but as it stands, Juve just needs a draw against Roma to secure the Scudetto. Elsewhere in the Serie A, we also got to give a shout out to Giuseppe Rossi, who now plays for Genoa and scored his first goal in the Serie A since 2014 against his former team, Fiorentina. Genoa did lose though, unfortunately. Also, Lazio drew 1-1 with Atalanta, so what, right? Well, Lazio continued to have some stellar individual performances this season as Luis Alberto took his assists up to 14 on the season, more than any other player in the Serie A. Okay, and for bonus league, FC Porto were crowned champions in Portugal this weekend following a 1-1 draw between SL Benfica and Sporting Lisbon, and then a 2-1 victory for Porto over Ferenc. Credit to Porto. I mean, the league table doesn't lie, and the team at the top deserves to be there after 34 matches. I'm just disappointed at how bad Benfica was. Sure, we still have 78 points and are in 2nd at the moment, but our club president was FC Porto's MVP during this offseason when he didn't bring in competent replacements for Ederson, Nelson Semedo, who went to Barcelona, and Lindelof, who went to Man United. 3 big pieces of our defense gone. Plus Luis Zhang's old. Come on, man. Anyway, congrats to Porto, their 28th title, and they put an end to Benfica's dominance of 4 straight titles. Alright everybody, thanks once again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video and your weekend. As always, if you're into the MLS, then I'll have a video on that up a little bit later today. But other than that, see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.